You know, I've been trying to put a funny part in the beginning of this episode to lure you guys in a little bit, but man, this movie doesn't even deserve one.
I don't get it.
Hi, I'm Tom Savini, and you're about to watch Terror Reels.
The best thing out of Pittsburgh since Clemente with the Pirates.
Well, we just covered 2 dope movies, and now we're on to this hunk of shit. I love the rest of the movies in this franchise, and trust me when I say, fucking try to like this movie. I used to stand up for it, but after rewatching it for this, it just solidifies how much of a piece of shit it is in my book. I even give it a little bit of a pass due to pretty much the film rewriting the scripts up until it was time to shoot, but even then, this movie's fucking whack and could have fucked up Wes Craven's horror status, but luckily he dropped Scream 4 before passing away in 2015 due to a brain tumor. Rest in peace, Wes Craven, and we will not let this movie tarnish your name or any of the genre staples you come up with, such as Last House on the Left, The Hills Have Eyes, A Vampire in Brooklyn, Scream, and fuck, he gave us Freddy Krueger, and that's something no one can ever take away, Wes Craven. Anyways, let's check out this turd from the year 2000, Scream 3. Fuck, even this movie opens up an annoying situation as Cotton Weary, played by Liev Schreiber, is stuck in a traffic jam in Hollywood. He gets a phone call from a sexy sounding lady fan. Well, happiness isn't allowed in these movies, so of course it's Ghostface. And he's at his girlfriend's apartment.
She's got a nice little voice. Let's come in for a closer look.
Cotton doesn't like the game that Ghostface is trying to play, but he's gonna make him play anyways. Cotton flies out of the traffic jam and heads home to save the day. He finds the door open but can't find his wife. He grabs the fire poker and knocks on the door only to find... She starts swinging on him. Why? Because later in this movie, we find out that you have stupid voice changers that can record your stupid voice, and I don't care if I spoil it this early in the movie, because it's fucking stupid. Before Cotton can even fight back, he gets slashed and then drops a bookcase on Ghostface and fights back. Well, that didn't work now, did it?
Now, you lose.
Back to our main character of the franchise, Sydney, played by Neve Campbell, is walking her dog in her secluded home. We learn that Sydney changed her name to Laura to get away from the killings, and hopefully that the murders don't follow her. Whatever name she goes by, even if the killer fucked around to find out, they'd be in for a rough fucking day. We meet Gail Weathers, played by Courtney Cox, hosting a seminar, and I say it's going pretty well.
So you're saying that we should be ready to go out and cut each other's throats because that's what you did?
You deserve that for sure. This lady told her the cops are here for her. Cop Mark, played by Patrick Dempsey, informs Gail about Cotton's murder, shows a picture that Ghostface left at the body.
Oh my god. This is Maureen Prescott.
It's so fucking stupid. We're not even 15 minutes into this movie, and I've rolled my eyes so far back in my head that they fucking exploded in my face. I hate that they brought her back in this franchise for anything. I know she's an important figure in the Scream universe, and the man that was found guilty of her death was falsely put behind bars, but it's really a high tell they were hurting for ideas, and let's see if it pays off. Guess what? It fucking doesn't. Anyways, we flash to the upcoming Scream 3 movie where Roman Bridger, played by Scott Foley, pretty much is begging Big Studio not to shut down his production.
Violence in cinema is a big deal right now, Roman.
He's got a good point, and Big Studio is scared since Cotton Weir was just brutally murdered that they could shut down the production of the movie, telling the story that he's a part of.
He was making a movie called Stab. He was stabbed.
Another good point. And here comes Gail to ruin the fucking day. We also meet these actors and actresses playing the actresses and actresses in Scream. I'm not going to go much into this Inception because they're just murder fodder and they're weak and lazy ways for plot progression. Speaking of that, I guess you could never guess who just showed up.
Well, surprise, surprise. Someone dies and Gail comes running.
Damn, and as snarky and goofy as ever. He's here as an advisor since, you know, he almost didn't live through 2 of these movies. Finally, something dope and awesome happens in this movie.
Boys.
Shit, Salvo, it's that TV news shit, Connie fucking Chong. Hey, Connie, how's Maury?
Who knows why the fuck they were here, but I'm sure glad they are. We find Sydney and her dad bullshitting about us, even though there's murder going on. Sarah gets to the studio and it's eerily quiet. He says he's here for a makeup test, but I bet he's just fucking around with scissors in his head. Much as I'd be doing the same thing if I was in his shoes. She's pissed about the real life and in movie continuous rewrites of the script.
And it's called Sarah Gets Skewered Like a Fucking Pig.
Of course it's Ghostface with a voice changer. Can't trust anyone in this movie. She hits the fuck you button on Ghostface and books it to the door only to find the shadiest fuck shadow on the other side of the door. She scurries away to the costume department and runs into the Ghostface costume area. And of course...
Press 4. If you'd like information about Sunrise Pictures merchandise,
come on.
press 5. To try to reach lot security or you
She grabs a machete and fights back. But this is a prop room, and of course the machete is made out of bullshit, and even if it was real, it wouldn't stop this Ghostface. Rest in peace, 1993's Playboy Playmate of the Month, Jenny McCarthy. The killer left another picture of Sydney's mom at the crime scene. Roman is pretty pissed that they shut down his production. But guess what? He's even about to be more pissed when the cops make him a suspect.
If someone wants to kill my movie. All right, we'll talk about your movie down at the station.
This theory could work. Real-life murders surrounding a movie based on real-life murders would really bring hype to the box office. We go back to Nancy on the Clock, where she answers a call to a woman in distress, or who's just confessed to murdering somebody, and...
You know your mother's voice when you hear it. Now turn on the news.
Okay, alright. The voice changer gets 1 point because that was pretty fucked up. Ghostface wants Sydney to turn on the news so she can find out about the new murders. Just in case she already didn't know. She goes to the cops about this, but nothing really comes from it. We flash over to Jennifer's house where she's with her bodyguard. The cast is Stab 3, Dewey, and Gail at their own not-so-wrapped-up rap party. This is where we learn that Roman didn't make the call and his cell phone was closed, which we kind of figured that since this happens a lot in these movies.
If I thought like a homicidal maniac, then I'd know how a homicidal maniac thinks.
Well, that helps jog something in Dewey's dumb head, and he realized that the new picture of Maureen Prescott has the same background as one of Jennifer's headshots, which I'm sure sounds better on paper, but the way it was executed on screen was pretty fucking stupid.
Oh my god, Maureen Prescott was at the backlight at Sunrise Studios.
While Jennifer's bodyguard is making his rounds and stealing change from Dewey's trailer, but as you could have guessed,
Angry!
Voice Maker really ruins the element of surprise. Who's Ghostface? Because now you just assume every call that anyone gets is from Ghostface. And so far in this movie, you'd be fucking right. After a knife to the spine, the bodyguard fights back until he is bludgeoned to death with a frying pan. Back inside the real house, Dewey and Gail get a haunted house amount of jump scares. Then they get a fax, because this movie was written at the beginning of the current millennium, and they continue to run back and forth, inside and outside, like a fucking Scooby-Doo cartoon. Ghostface is rewriting the script. Now let's see how this scene will end. By setting up this elaborate killing, knowing that one of these murder fodder characters couldn't resist getting the next fact and having terrible eyesight enough to need a lighter to see the facts, while filling the whole building up with gas that no one smells, right? Pretty lucky that worked out, sending all of our characters tumbling down this big ass hill, and Dewey saving Gail's life again. Since we're only halfway through this turd, of course Ghostface isn't dead, and he gets out of there in a blink of an eye. I guess we need a reason for Dale and Dewey's love to spark back up. Jennifer ain't happy, but Gail got Dewey's back.
Jennifer?
Hey!
And Dewey finds another picture like we're in a fucking Resident Evil game. Back at the LAPD precinct, the Woodsboro 3 are all reunited. Sydney tells them that she got a call from Ghostface.
Oh, you know, the usual small talk. What's new? How you been? How do you want to die?
That's the Sydney we know and love, and not that bullshit persona Laura. Sydney sees the picture of her mother and decides to check out the studios.
Watch the fucking aliens.
I know they wanted to be more comedic in this movie since comedy and horror movies were really blowing up around this time, but the only funny parts are their scenes going to the studio sets, which is roughly 45 seconds of this fucking movie. Anyways, Randy's sisters pop out of the random trailer and gives us a from the grave Randy to drop off some fucking horror knowledge.
If you find yourself dealing with an unexpected backstory and a preponderance of exposition, then the sequel rules do not apply. You are dealing with the concluding chapter of a trilogy.
Yeah, that feels pretty accurate with the whole backstory of Sydney's mom.
1, you got a killer who's going to be superhuman. Stabbing him won't work. Shooting him won't work. Number 2, anyone, including the main character, can die. This means you, Sid. Number 3, the past will come back to bite you in the ass.
Best part of the movie. So glad Randy came back to the franchise for one last time, and they didn't fuck up his overall character in the franchise. Jennifer decides Gail is the cause of all her current problems, so she's gonna follow her into death. They go inside the Sunrise Studio archive building to figure out what's going on with Sydney's mom in this awful town.
was up for Princess Leia. I was this close. So who gets it? The one who sleeps with George Lucas.
Another dope cameo that this movie doesn't deserve, but I'm glad it's here. They discover that Maureen had a stage name, Rihanna Reynolds, and that's why they've been having a hard time figuring out what's going on. She's been in nothing but horror movies that the horror director John Milton has made, and he's had his hand in all 3 of the Stab movies. Sydney's in the bathroom and hears something strange and sees a pair of boots rising above the toilet. Oh shit, it's the girl playing Sydney in Stab 3 with a bunch of incriminating shit on her. She says they took them as souvenirs. We'll fucking see. Regardless, she's coming off hella shady, but Sydney believes her and lets her go. Angelina left a brush, so Sydney goes on his set to find her, but she finds. That'd be pretty fucking bonkers to see, but you had to see it coming considering this set is of a movie of your life, of your murder, the shit's around you. But they hit us with some nostalgia to really make it feel like a trilogy.
It occurred to me that I've never snuck through your bedroom.
Yo, fuck Creed. Sydney hears something from afar and closes the door in a classic Sydney fashion. Does it work in here since everything is made as cheaply as possible for a movie? Doesn't matter. Ghostface grips up Sydney. They go crashing through a catering table full of cheese and nitrous carts. They tussle around, but Sydney's still badass and kicks Ghostface's ass before running back into the set home and locks the probably fake ass door. Once again, it doesn't matter. Sydney runs up the stairs while throwing mad shit at Ghostface and trying to slow him down. But remember, this whole house is fake. Probably shouldn't have aimed for the softest thing in the fucking room. Sydney begins to hear her mom. She steps in the murder set of Maureen's murder where the voice begins to talk shit on Sydney. Dewey yells from outside of the house, but the body bag of Maureen rises from the ground and charges Sydney, making her fall out of a second-story window onto a nice soft landing. Moments after the landing, the lights turn on and the place begins to fill with cops. Later, Dewey, Jennifer, and Gail bust into John Milton's office where he was having a meeting with Ronan, and they begin drilling him about Maureen Prescott.
You have made millions off the story of her murder. You're obsessed with her, and you're obsessed with her daughter!
Right, easy, Geraldo.
She's not wrong. Gail threatens to expose him, so he spills the beans about Marie just not being able to play by Hollywood's fucked up, rapey rules. Later, Dewey gets a call from Sydney saying to head over to Milton's house because she's heading over there.
Where's Sydney?
She's right there.
Jesus, not Sydney, Sydney.
This Roman dude sucks. But he says that him and Sydney never talked, so of course it was Ghostface. So fucking lazy. They pair off looking for a secret movie room. Roman takes Jennifer down in the basement because it's a logical place for a home movie theater, while Angelina and Tyson go upstairs because realistically, in a house this fucking big, any room could be a movie theater room. Dewey and Gail still in the living room waiting for Sydney. They decide to call her back to see where the fuck she's at. This is where they finally find out about these stupid ass voice changers. And now they know they can't trust anybody, so they decide to split up, which we all know is pretty fucking stupid to do considering there's a serial killer loose in the house.
Oh, okay, come on. We gotta get out of here.
Cheap ass jump scare. Gail heads downstairs in the basement. I like to own one of these days. And goes to a glowing casket only to find... She checks his pulse to see if he's dead. He's dead, and then... These jump scares are fucking terrible and not scary.
Sorry!
Even that one. Angelina runs off from everyone, only just to get stabbed right in the tits. I told you that these actors were only here just to be murder fodder. Everyone meets back up and Dewey gets knocked the fuck out. And then gets cut up, but Tyson tries his best to save the day. But then he runs for help before Jennifer finds a secret-ass door in the closet, just like Scooby-Doo. Okay, movie, calm down with the Scooby-Doo shit. Give me some more action. There we go. That's better. He begins to chase Jennifer in a secret part of the house, and she finds herself behind a two-way mirror like they did in Scream 2 with the soundproof glass. Gail and Dewey are on the other side of it. Dewey begins to buck shots off at the mirror, but does he save the day? No, he fucking didn't. Gale and Dewey split up again, and then Gale immediately gets gripped up. Gale could always hold her own, but she turned into a real badass and fights Ghostface back, almost getting her head chopped off. Dewey's phone rings, and it's Gale on the other line. Or is it? He doesn't really know if it's really her or not. Before hearing her scream in the basement, Dewey busts down the door and begins blasting. You fucked up, Dewey. What will Ghostface do now? Okay, Scream Train. Alright. You get a real genuine laugh out of me. I would have loved to see Ghostface ninja toss a blade deep into someone's face, but I'll take this as a comical segment. Then Ghostface raises his knife and they just cut to a fucking pizza party at the police precinct. Sydney's there and she finds the police file on her. Then she gets a call from patrol.
Hello? Hello? Who is this? Who is this?
Fucking whack-ass trolls.
I can only hear myself.
I only hear you too, Sydney.
Oh, that makes sense. He has Dewey and Gale yell for Sydney, but promises he will kill him if she tells the police. After a classic back and forth shit talking between Ghostface and Sydney, Ghostface drops this bomb on her.
Don't you want to know, Sydney, who killed her? Don't you want to know who killed your mother?
So she steals the detective's keys and gun and heads out to have a Ghostface showdown. She's greeted with a phone call and Ghostface demands her to use the metal detector. It goes off on the gun that she brought and he makes her throw it in the pool. She goes inside and finds a tied up Dewey and Gale.
Now that we're all here, the party can begin.
Ghostface loves the party and slaps the shit out of Sydney, but she can't prepare with two guns.
It's your turn to scream, asshole.
Damn, that was easy. But guess what? He's not there anymore. After they hear a noise, Sydney grabs her gun and goes Ghostface hunt. Pretty sus if you ask me. Sydney's a suspect of him as well, but she sees what's going on here and puts the weapon away a bit early. Sydney gets knocked the fuck out for a moment while Kincaid and Ghostface tussle around. Sydney gets her land feet back and starts bucking off shots at Ghostface to find out she only has one bullet left. Enough to get his attention though. Ghostface begins chase as Sydney runs and locks herself into her room before finding another Scooby-Doo door and escapes into the private parts of the building.
You Sid. Oh, I was so pretty.
Hey, she found the hidden theater and is playing videos of Sydney's mom.
What's the matter? What are you staring at? Don't you remember your mother?
Okay, that gets another good laugh out of me. But who else would it be than Ghostface? She goes to run away, but Ghostface locks the door and flashes his bulletproof vest. Then begins to overtell Sydney his whole plan like villains do before revealing himself.
Own son.
You fucking serious? This is so fucking dumb. Yeah, it's very possible that Maureen had a secret second family. Happens all the time, right? But that never came up during the investigation of Maureen's murder. If this story made sense at all, Gale would have at least figured it out doing the research of one of her many fucking books. Fuck this. Fuck Roman. He shoots a few clips of Sydney's mom sleeping around with different men before dragging us along through more killer plots as Dewey breaks free and grabs the gun off the Grey's Anatomy doctor. The Roman pulls out a barely bloody and taped up John Dillon. Then he gives us a twist that it's alright in the midst of all this.
I want you to understand. I'm gonna make you pay.
That's what the police are gonna find on Milton's answering machine, right next to his lifeless, mutilated corpse.
Alright, I didn't see that coming, but it still doesn't make this movie any fucking better. But a good neck cutter does. Sydney snapping and killing everyone involved in the third movie of her life makes sense. I can see it being a decent plot line, but the journey up into this was boring and fucking stupid. It could have been done way better. It could have been written well. Like always, Sydney talks hella shit to Ghostface, sending him into a jumping rage.
Fuck you! Fuck you!
They backhand each other for a few minutes before Roman smashes Sydney's head on the fucking bar. Sydney gets a few good hits on Roman, but Roman recovers and begins kicking the shit out of Sydney while Dewey and Gale struggle to find the magic book that'll open the Scooby-Doo door. Roman has enough of this back and forth and decides to choke out Sydney. Dewey stabs the electrical outlet, causing it to blow a fuse and cutting the power to the entire house. The cop finally gets his legs back and goes to save the day in the dark.
Where is he?
Roman gets the cop's pocket shooter and shoots at Sydney in the torso. No way. Sydney can't fucking die. She's our forever final girl. told you he also stole the bulletproof vest from the precinct before heading out, but this time, Ghostface gets a call. Roman babbles on about his movie, but Sydney is over it.
Step 3, right?
Then they super force a brother-sister moment onto us with Roman's last bit of energy, and it's fucking stupid, and nobody in real life, or even this movie, should give a shit. Finally, Dewey says something smart for the first time in this whole movie.
Randy said the killer's always superhuman.
Eventually, after not getting the hint how bulletproof vests work in movies, Sydney finally tells Deputy Doofus to shoot Roman in the head after putting 12 bullets in his fucking torso. To end what was supposed to be a trilogy on a good note, Dewey brings out a book with a surprise cut into it. In real life, David Arquette and Courtney Cox were married from 1999 to 2013. Anyways, that's the end of the third installment in the Scream franchise, and what a mess this movie was. The plot was weak and super lazy. The voice recording voice changer that sounded real, even if you were in the same room as the person using it, was lazy, and it showed what little effort the writers put into this and how much they really cared for this movie. And them, changing the script up until time to shoot really showed. Out of all the movies in the Scream franchise, this is the most dated and annoying and dumb. And maybe that's because the 2000s were a really weird time in the world, but it comes off so hokey in this movie, even for that time. This installment was supposed to be way more, comedic than the rest of it, but it fell very short in the joke department. The blood and gore was lacking, when overall this series has been pretty brutal. Can the fourth installment, which came out over a decade later, bring new life into this dying franchise? Yes it can. So stay tuned for that next episode of Terror Reels. We're all finishing up the Scream franchise right as Scream 5 should release in theaters. Thanks for watching. See you next time. Terror Reels dominate. Start the caskets in the chat. Peace.
Shout out to Pittsburgh Juggalo-based horror show on YouTube called Terror Reels. Terror Reels. Terror Reels. It's real. Real terror. Real. R-E-E-L. R-E-A-L. Terror Reels. Terror Reels. Hey, dog will hunt. Get that bitch. You dented my plate. My brain is burning. Terror Reels. Goodbye.